Hey, shalom, 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 saints scattered abroad. It's your brother Shemariah.
Khan, Israel too.
Khan, brother Nasi on the scene. Shalom, shalom.
Hey, we got a lesson today. Going over Psalms 22. We were having some technical difficulties. The water for all those that endured. We are back at it. Trying to get this lesson done. Again, we're gonna be going through Psalms 22, and we're gonna break it down, man, verse for verse, precept for precept, and try and get a full understanding of this chapter, right? We know this is prophecy or prophetically speaking of Hamashiach or Malaki Hawashai. And we're going to go into it, man.
Khan.
Khan, man. If y'all new to the channel, man, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Baba Kashar, right? This is for the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American and Negro descent, right? So we understand, according to biblical and historical prophecies, that we are the people of the book, right? We are the direct descendants from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And with that, man, we want to say shalom to all the saints that are scattered abroad, right? Shalom, almighty shalom to the elders, right? The house of David that's been putting in this work for decades and decades. And last but not least, man, we want to give all praises and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, right? And his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ, right? So we're going to get into this thing. We're going to let the room build up. And we're going to go precept upon precept, right, to talk about Hamashiach, or the Messiah Christ in the Old Testament. We're going to go and look at his baby pictures through the Spirit, right?
Khan.
So uh, the water for everybody tapping in.
Oh, I get it how it's formatted. Okay.
Let's see what I did.
Yeah.
Con, man. If y'all in the chat, man, make sure y'all throw a shalom in the chat, man. Shalom, throw some sevens in the chat for us. All right, let us know you in the building. Gonna get started shortly. All right, and we wish you brothers and sisters Godspeed, man. Right, if you coming new to the class, which we consider ourselves scholars through the Spirit, so make sure you have your KJV, right, the Apocrypha, and also your notepads, man. We're gonna have one of the brothers is gonna be scribing, and we'll be able to throw all the precepts that we're bringing out. They'll be in the chat, right? So if you get kind of lost behind, you'll be able to find them in the chat. If you have any questions, right, comments, things that you might want us to deal with concerning this topic, throw them in the chat. We can deal with those things. And if there's anything that's pertaining outside of this breakdown, Lord willing, after the class is over, we'll open up the floor, right, for you to for us to address those questions, right, through the Spirit. But we're dealing with Yahushua, Psalms 22 breakdown, right? Christ in the Old Testament.
Come.
Like, share, subscribe, saints. Like, share, subscribe.
Nasi, do you need me to scribe or you
No,
wanna?
I'm on. I got Shalom, Aqua, Shalom, Shalom. Sister Naya on the scene, man. Right, so
Ready to get into it?
Con. We can go ahead and get into it, man.
hey,
Come.
so like I got a couple precepts to segue us into this breakdown, Baba Kashar, if I can bring them out through the Spirit.
Con.
Right, I got the book of Hebrews, right, chapter 10 and 27, 10 and 9, Salaki. Hebrews 10 and 7, right? Hebrews 10 and 7. And it reads, Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, right? It is to do thy will, O God, right? So this is talking about Hamashiach Yahweh. He said, I come in the volume of the book. Like we say all the time, from Genesis to Revelation, with no hesitation, right? This is dealing with the Israelites, and this is dealing with also Christ Hamashiach, right? This is in the New Testament. Let me get that in the book of Psalms real quick. Psalms chapter 40 and verse 7. And it says, Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. So if you're new to the channel or the understanding, as you know, us as Israelites, coming out of the doctrines and the theologies of the world, we want to show biblical integrity when we come out with a breakdown. So we can't just say something and not back it up. So we're gonna go precept upon precept. Thus says the book of Isaiah, the 28th chapter. Right. One more precept, Job 11 and 6. Right, because we're going into the Old Testament. There's a lot of people who don't subscribe to the whole book. Right. Some just take the old, some just take the new. Some don't even deal with the scriptures, period. Right. So this is Job 11 and 6. And it reads, And that he would shew these secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. And so, as I said earlier, when we was coming into this breakdown, we're going to go and check out Christ's baby pictures in the Old Testament. Because as you go into the book of Hebrews, the 10th chapter, it'll show you that that Christ was a shadow of things to come, right? So that means that he was foretold, or these things were foretold in the old, and you got to have eyes to see him, right? And Lord willing, through the breakdown and the precepts that we're going to bring out today, you'll be able to see these things for yourself and know these things to be true. One last precept, because these things might not be to you if you're not one of these. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 1 and 26. And I'm going to put these precepts in the chat. It says, Even the mystery which had been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. Right. So you gotta have this wisdom, right, to be able to process what's going to be coming out today through the Spirit. So Lord willing, the Most High has his hands on you, and he'll be able to edify you through the Spirit. But with that, I yield. I'm gonna hand it back over to the brothers.
Come. Well, first,
I want to grab some. I want to grab a few precepts.
okay.
Um, um, Give me one moment.
Come.
Um,
Oh, I know what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
give me that. And then give me I want one more. What do I want? Give me Nas, if you could give me Luke 1 and 68 when you can, Baba Kashar.
I got you out.
Let's see if I remember this.
All right, Shalom, Shalom, Generios.
Nah,
Jackson. Sorry.
Janarius. That's G, man.
Janarius. Salakia. So
Shalom, King. Shalom, Mike.
got the mighty elder brother Meeks on the scene. Shalom, huh?
Khan. Brother J Moan on the scene. Shalom, King.
Let me bring it out.
Yeah. Go ahead, King.
John 5, verse 46.
Hmm.
For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me.
You see that? Had you believed Moses, had you believed the old, you will believe the new, because it was written of Hamashiach and it was prophesied of his coming and his works and his doing prior to him actually coming in the physical, on the flesh, as Christ. Go ahead.
For he wrote of me.
He did what?
He wrote of me.
Right.
But if you believe not his writings,
But you believe not the writings of Moses or the prophets, right? Go ahead.
how shall you believe my words?
How are you going to believe Hamashiach, right? Give me Matthew 5 and 13. Nasi, if you got that Luke, you can bring that out. Start at 68 and read through. You can read through 70, 72.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 68.
Mm-hmm.
And it reads thus.
I want you to read it. 5 and 17.
Right. This is the book of
Go
Luke,
ahead.
chapter 1 and verse 68. And it reads, Blessed be the most high God of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
for he hath visited and redeemed his people.
What people?
His people.
Go ahead.
And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David,
Uh-huh.
as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets.
As he did what?
Spake of the mouth by the mouth of his holy prophets,
Uh-huh.
which have been since the world began.
Right. So since the world began, they've been speaking of this horn that was raised up as salvation in David. They've been speaking of prophesying about this salvational branch that was going to come in the future, right? We know it and understand this to be Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, right? Go ahead and keep reading, King.
Verse 70. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began,
Mm-hmm.
that we should be saved.
That what?
That we should be saved from
who?
our enemies.
From our enemies, right? So there's no way possible that Christ came to save everybody, because he came to save somebody from their enemies, right? Go ahead.
And from the hand of all that hate us.
Right? All the heathens hate the children of Israel. So he's come to save us from the lot or the stock of people that hate us, right? Go ahead.
To perform the mercy promised to our fathers,
Mm-hmm.
and to remember his holy covenant.
Right? The covenant that was given to the lost tribes of Israel through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go ahead.
The oath which he sware to our father Abraham.
Right?
That he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear,
Mm-hmm.
in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life.
You can yield right there. We got one more and we're going to jump into the lesson. Let me get that Matthew 5 and 17.
Matthew 5 and verse 17. It says, Think not that I have come to destroy the law.
Said I what?
Think not that I have come to destroy the law.
So Christ didn't come to destroy the law. Go ahead.
Or the prophets.
Or the prophets. He didn't come to destroy the law of Moses or the prophets, right? Who were writing about him and what was to come, the future prophecies concerning Hamashiach. Go ahead.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to what?
Fulfill.
So Christ came to fulfill the prophecies that they spoke of concerning him. That's the whole basis of the prophecy being written aforetime, for him to come in the flesh and fulfill those things that were written about him. Go ahead.
Let me keep going on that.
I think that's it on that. Is it?
Yeah.
Nah, give me the one job, one chip. Give me out.
Okay, my bad. It says, For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
And we still here on earth under the heavens. They haven't passed away. So none of this law is going to pass away. Go ahead.
Until all be fulfilled.
Until all be fulfilled, right? And we still seeing prophecy being fulfilled every day. So everything has not been fulfilled. So right now we are still here. The law is still established. The law is still enforced. And we're going to get into this breakdown, okay? Let's start in Psalms 22 and 1 from the top. Psalms 22 and 1.
I'm gonna bring it out when I get there.
Psalms 22 and 1. Nasi, if you can hold Matthew 27 and 46.
Psalms chapter 22 and verse 1. My God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Mm-hmm.
Why art thou so far from helping me
Mm-hmm.
and from the words of my groaning?
Now, let's mind you that this is David. This is a prophetic chapter and a psalm of David, right, concerning Hamashiach. Read that one more time from the top, Baba Kasha.
My God,
Mm-hmm.
why hast thou forsaken me?
Right.
And why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my groaning?
Right. So let's see how this coincides with Hamashiach's time. Let me get Nasi, if you hold on at Matthew 27. Let me get you Yasha Khan. Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 27, and verse 46. And it reads.
Give me one. I think I want you to start up a little higher than that. Give me 1 second. Matthew 27. And I want you to start at now you can just read 46. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 27, and verse 46. And about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, 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 lama sabachthani.
Shalakia. Start at 39.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 27, and verse 39. And they that passed by...
Shalakia. We'll get into that. Shalakia, that's my fault. Let's go ahead. Just read 46.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 27, and 46. And about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani.
Mm-hmm.
That is to say, my power, why hast thou forsaken me?
What did he say?
My power, why hast thou forsaken me?
Right. So this is the same thing that Christ said out of his own mouth. This was prophecy saying of David, showing you that this is things that are going to come to pass in Hamashiach during that 9th hour or the hour of his deliverance, right? Being delivered unto the hands of the enemy. Let's give Mark 15 and 34.
Mark 15 and 34. It says, at the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, well, in the Hebrew, it'd be Alaya, Alaya, Lama Sabachthani, which is being interpreted, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Again, this is on precept, getting an understanding of the same thing happening in 2 different accounts. The scripture says in 2 or 3 witnesses is a word established, right? So we're going to get multiple precepts to make sure that we get a full understanding of this. Now we're going to jump back to Psalms 22.
And just a quick point, if you keep reading why they thought he was calling on Elijah, which is a hell of a skull. Literally, Elijah's name, Alaya, means my God.
Right.
So when he was saying Alaya, Alaya, he wasn't saying Elijah, he was saying my God, my God. So that just tell you what type of people he was dealing with.
It was continue even on his death. In his death, they was continuously throwing snares in front of him.
Bro,
right?
Yeah. Psalms 1. Let me go back.
Yeah, go ahead and go to verse 22.
Psalms 22 and verse 2. It says, oh my God, I cried in the daytime, but thou heardest not.
He what?
I cried in the daytime, but thou heardest not. And in the night season, and am not silent.
Right. So we're gonna go to Luke chapter 21. I'm already there, so I'll bring it out. It says Luke 21 and 41. Luke 21. Salakia.
Yeah, that's what you want.
It's not what I want.
Okay. Let me grab it.
It's 22 and 41.
Okay.
22 and 41. Luke 22 and 41, and we're going to read through 44.
Okay. I'm going to bring it out.
Yeah.
Luke 22:41. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me.
What did he say?
Remove this cup from me.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done.
He said, nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done, Father. Go ahead.
And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him.
Do what?
Strengthening him.
So an angel came down from out of heaven and strengthened Yahushua, because he was Christ knew what he had to fulfill. He knew his lot. He knew his portion, but he was still human, right? So he asked of the Father, hey, if there's any way that you can remove this cup from me, please make it pass. But it's not my will be done, it's yours. If you really want me to do this, I do it. But if I don't have to, please don't allow me to go through this, right?
Please, no, not that one.
Done, right? Right. But the Most High looked upon his son and said, no, you were born to do this. This is your lot. You can't do this. What I will do, I'll send you an angel to strengthen you to carry this burden that you're going to have to bear, right?
Verse 44, and being in agony, he prayed more earnestly.
He what?
He prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground.
You see that? He prayed so hard, and he was sweating so hard, it was as if it was blood dropping from his face. That's how hard he was praying. I won't say how fearful he was, but that's how much of a zeal he had while he was praying to the Father, that he looked as if his sweat beads were blood drops, right? That's it on that.
Yep.
Let's jump back to Psalms 22, and we're going to go in chapter 3 and read through 4.
So like y'all, I got one quick precept for you.
Okay.
The book of Acts, the 3rd chapter, right? Book of Acts, the 3rd chapter, and starting at verse 18. Let me start at 17.
I got you.
It's
the book of Acts, chapter 3, right?
17. Read through 18.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 3 and verse 17. And it reads, and now, brethren, I would that thou ignorance ye did it, as did also your rulers.
Right, because they coming on the scenes like in times past, y'all was ignorant of these things. I'm trying to show y'all something here. I don't want y'all to be ignorant anymore. Right, read on.
But those things which Yahweh before he shewed by the mouth of all his prophets.
By who?
By the mouth of all his prophets.
See, there you have it again. We just brought that out in Luke 1:68. And so we're going to these prophets and to these accounts so that we can no longer be ignorant. So that people can see that Yahushua was always foretold and he was a foreshadow to come, right? And not only to come, but to fulfill and to redeem, as it's going to further prove. Go ahead, Ak.
That Christ should suffer, he had so fulfilled.
See that? Right. So that was just another precept expounding on leaning on the prophets, right? And Yahushua. But I yield. Go ahead, Ak.
That's an excellent point, King. The next chapter or the next verse is going to be Psalms 22 and verse 3.
Psalms 22 and 3.
Read through 4.
But thou art holy, and O thou that inhabitest the praise of Israel. Our father trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them.
Thou trusted, and thou didst deliver them, right? So we're going to go to Sirach 51 and 8.
On there.
So like you. If y'all following along with us, right? We're breaking down we're breaking down Psalms 22. So the precept that we're going to be dropping in there is going to be landing us back off of the book of Psalms.
So we're staying, like the brother saying, yes, that's right. We're staying in Psalms 22, and we're grabbing precepts to substantiate each precept in the chapter, right? So the basis that we're at is Psalms 22, and we're jumping around, going precept on precept to land me back on each precept or verse that we bring out. Right now we're in verse 3 and 4. Now we're going to go to Sirach 51 and 8 through 9, as well as Sirach chapter 2 and 10 to substantiate verses 3 through 4 in Psalms 22.
Sirach chapter 51 and verse 8. It says, Then thought I upon the mercy, O Lord,
right?
And upon the acts of old,
Mm-hmm.
how thou deliverest such as wait for thee,
Right?
and savest them out of the hands of the enemies.
And does what?
Savest them out of the hands of the enemy.
So that's what Christ had to lean on. He had to think about, the Most High has saved my ancestors multiple times. When I think about, Joshua, the children of Israel coming out of Moses, David, and so forth and so on, the Most High has delivered our ancestors. So if it be His will, He do it again. But that's why Christ said, "Your will be done, not mine." Right? If I have to again bear this burden for the nation, as Caiaphas said, is expedient for that to happen, then so be it, right? But Christ, still being in the flesh, was a man, and he thought to himself, look, if there's any way that I can get out of this, please. But if not, your will be done, right?
Verse 9. It says, then lifted I up my supplications from the earth and prayed for deliverance from death.
You see that? The same thing Christ was doing. Lifted up his supplication from earth and prayed for his deliverance from death, right? Now let me get Sirach 2 and 10.
Khan, I'm holding this is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 10.
So like, hold on, before you bring that out, King, read some more on that. Read through 12.
Sirach chapter 51 and verse 11. 10. I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord.
You see that? And this is Sirach, right? It's the same thing in Psalms 110. It says, I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord. It says,
so they had an understanding that there was this mediator. So you could get it. I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord. So he said he's calling on the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the Father of his Lord, which would be
Yahweh Shai. You see that? It's always a reverence. It's multiple situations and precepts. It shows you that our people always acknowledge the mediator. They always acknowledge Hamashiach, right? Even when they called on Yahweh, they acknowledged that he was the Father of their Lord, which is Yahweh Shai, right? Go ahead.
Consolakia, you referenced that Psalms 110. I'm holding that for you, bro. You want me to bring it out?
Go ahead, bring it out, King.
This is Psalms 110 in verse 1. It says, the Most High, Salakia, I'm going to read it as it is. The Lord said unto my Lord.
You see that? The Lord said unto my Lord, right? So it's a difference between the Most High God and then Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, right? Go ahead.
He says, sit thou at my right hand,
right?
Until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Until I what?
Make thine enemies thy footstool.
And we know who sits on the right hand of the Most High, right? Let me get, just to prove and give an example, let's get Acts 2 and 25.
Let me grab it for you get it.
Acts chapter, I'm already here. Acts chapter 2. It says it, but I have to prove some more. Let me get
right. So all the brothers pulling that, we're trying to show you, or the Bible again, we're no longer going to be ignorant to these things, right? You can see precepts upon precepts, how it's saying the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand. So these are people who are in power, the Most High God, and who the world calls Yahweh Shai. Right. So we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue on with it.
And then let me get Colossians 3:1, and then let me get Acts. Yeah, I got Acts 2 and 34. That's what I want.
That's what it was.
Yeah, 2 and 34.
Oh, okay.
I'm holding. This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 34. And it reads, this is Acts 2 and 34. Therefore, for David is not ascended into the heavens, but he said unto himself, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand. Right. So that's another precept that's coming out. That's verbatim. right? So this is not just talking about, even though it was written in the Psalms of David, this is not referencing David. This is referencing Hamashiach Yahushai,
Con.
plain upon tables, right?
Con.
Let me read that again. It's a good precept. For David is not ascended into heaven, into the heavens. And that's why we bringing this breakdown out, because some of these things, the Most High said, don't, roughly paraphrasing the precept, he says, don't use your liberty for an occasion that you can cause your other brothers to stumble. And that's what we're dealing with, us as men of the Lord, and we bringing out this understanding. It's a lot of things that are in these scriptures that our brothers and sisters wrestle with, like not believing on Yahweh Shai, right? So, and they believe on David. We're not kind of going to go into that, but that's the OT understanding. And so this New Testament here is plainly upon table saying that David didn't ascend into the heavens.
That's right.
Right. But he said unto himself, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand. So if this is not David, it's Yahweh Shai, right? Who the world calls Christ. I yield.
Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God.
He does what?
Sitteth on the right hand of God.
You see that? It says it again. Christ sits on the right hand of God. So if it's this reference that is giving of my Lord, that would be Yahweh Shai. It says, the Lord said unto my Lord. The Lord would be Yahweh, and my Lord would be Yahweh Shai, right? We're going to have two more precepts to further prove that point. It's going to be Ephesians 1 and 20.
What was that one you read in Colossians? Yashala?
3 and 1.
The one.
And this is Ephesians 1 and 20. It says, which he wrought in Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, when he raised him from the dead and sat him at his own right hand.
At his what?
At his own right hand.
That's just another verse.
In the heavenly places. Right? And I'm going to grab one more. This is Acts 7. And I'm going to start at 54. Right? This is Brother Stephen. He says, Acts 7 and 54. He says, when they heard these things, they were cut to the heart, and they gnashed on him with their teeth. But he, being full of the Holy Ghost, looked upon steadfastly into heaven, and saw the glory of Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai standing on the right hand of Yahweh, and said, behold, I see the heavens open, and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God.
So you see this throughout the so-called old, you see this in the so-called new. So this wasn't a new thing,
right?
This wasn't a new understanding. They've been having this understanding since old.
Hey, it's his right hand man.
Yeah, I mean,
literally, his right hand man, like literally. You know what I'm saying? So it's an understanding that may be hard for the average Jake or a Christian mind state person to fathom, but it's not a new thing within our people. We've been had this understanding that Christ sits on the right hand of Hamashiach. Christ sits on the right hand of Yahweh, right? But we're gonna jump back into the lesson, right? Pick back up at Sirach 51 and 10.
My bad, I jumped it on accident.
I can bring it out. I'm already here. This is Sirach 51 and 10. I called upon the Lord, the Father of my Lord, that he would not leave me in the days of my trouble, and in the time of the proud, when there was no help. I will praise thy name continually, and will sing praise with thanksgiving. And so my prayers were heard, for thou savest me from destruction, and deliverest me from the evil time. Therefore will I give thanks and praise and bless thy name, O Yahweh. So again, we call out to Yahweh, and he hears our prayers, right? And he delivers us in the time of our travail. Let's get Sirach 2 and 10 to further substantiate that.
Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10. Oh, I thought he brought it out. I'll bring it again.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. Okay.
No.
Look at the generations of old.
Do what?
Look at the generations of old.
Look into the generations of old. Look at the examples that's been laid out before us. Look at our ancient ancestors. Right. Go ahead.
And see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?
Did any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Now, carnally, you may say Yahushua trusted in the Most High, and he still had to die, but he raised him and set him on his right hand.
And ultimately, but that was prophetic. That was
it had to happen the way that it happened.
So you can't even really use that if you're really being smart.
I'm saying, you know how Jake.
I know.
Go ahead, King.
And was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?
Mm-hmm.
Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Go ahead.
For the Lord is full of compassion
and
mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins.
And does what?
Forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction.
Right. So I sit on that. You can drop that. So look, we know and understand that during the time of old, our ancestors called on Yahushua and they were delivered in multiple situations, multiple occasions. You have to be right, because there's a situation we were in battle, and I think during the time of Joshua, and we were at battle and we kept losing, and they couldn't understand why we were losing, but somebody had taken something, a vessel, I believe, that they were supposed to do away with, and they had it, and the Most High didn't fight for us because we were out, for lesser words, we was out of pocket, right? Somebody, I think it was a Judite that had taken something, and he was hiding it within his tent, and the Most High made him stone the whole family. Right. And they had defiled themselves, and they had to be removed from the congregation in order for us to then win our battles, because we begin to lose because we had done something that the Most High had told us not to do, or somebody within the congregation had done something that the Most High told us not to do, and we all were being punished for it. Right.
They got his whole family killed over some shekels.
That's over some shekels, basically.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But we're gonna jump back in the breakdown. This is Psalms 22 and verse 5. We're picking up in Psalms 22 and verse 5.
Psalms chapter 22 and verse 5. It says, they cried unto thee and were delivered.
Mm-hmm.
They trusted in thee and were not confounded.
Right.
But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despised of the people.
And despised of the people.
Yeah, you gotta get the.
Give me Isaiah 53 and 6.
You gotta get the blue letter, bro. You gotta get the blue letter. This one. Okay.
Right. The brother's gonna go into some etymology of these words. Right. The brother Yasha Allah. Brother Nasi, if you can pull a precept for me, it's going to be Isaiah 53 and 6.
Sure.
I'm going to read this verse again. You can bring out, I'm going to read this verse again, and then we're going to have the brother bring out the blue letter, and then you can bring the precept out. This is Isaiah, this is Psalms 22 and 5, and it reads, Thy cried unto thee and were delivered. They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. Right. So the brother's gonna go into the etymology of this verse and try and break down what some of these words are referencing. Give me 1 second.
He can pull out
22.
He can get the Isaiah if you want. We're gonna go into the the etymology of this word here in Psalms 22 and 6. And this may be something you just read over. Okay, I'm a worm. It's pretty. It would seem like it's really not deep at all. But I'm finna share the screen and bring it out.
While the brother was pulling that, the brother Karas found that precept in Joshua 7 that you was referencing, dealing with.
That's right.
Right. Dealing with Joshua and the Israelites and the Most High not fighting for them because they had defiled themselves. This is Joshua, the 7th chapter, verse 1. But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. Right? So if you further read on down, you'll see how Joshua was upset. He rent his cold clothes. He went into mourning, things of that nature. But the water Akaras for that precept. But go ahead with the etymology.
Here, okay, so in the Psalms 22 and verse 6, when he says, I am a worm, it's prophetic, but this is prophetic of, Yahweh Shai. And to prove that, I'm going to show it. This computer go a little bit quicker. So when you go into this word, it says worm, scarlet stuff. This worm right here is called the Coccus illicus. It says when the female of the scarlet worm species was ready to give birth to her young, she would attach her body to a trunk of a tree, fixing herself so firmly and permanently that she would not leave again. And the eggs deposited beneath her body were thus protected until the larvae were hatched and able to enter their own life cycle. As the mother died, it says the crimson fluid strained her body and surrounded the wood.
The blood.
It's and like even the the Edomites, bro, they know this. They know what it's talking about. What the picture this gives of Christ dying on the tree, shedding his precious blood that he might bring many sons unto the glory. So even when you look up this damn when you look up this worm, like this is literally what it do. This is what the worm look like. It's kind of a weird looking worm. Look at it. It really look like a grape.
And look what color it is though.
like literally look what color it is. But when this okay, I ain't gonna try to get too deep into the picture, whatever. But when you do look at like the it's like this right here. So when it does end up dying on the tree, you could literally see it's like somebody smashed a grape like on the trunk of the tree. So let me see. Let me go look it up to be more specific.
I got a precept on that when you're going. Okay.
You could pretty much get it. It'd be like kind of hard to find, but it's like this right here. It's this exact one right here. So that's what this pretty much this verse is going into. I mean, it seems so surface level, but when you go into this word, he's talking about this exact worm, and we know what this exact worm do.
That we go into the etymology of words, and it'll show you in complex that it's really talking about prophecy. Right, it's really it's not just saying things. Things are double fold. It's going specifically into something, not just surface level, as the brother would say. That you can surface level of something being focused on. It's actually embedded. It's actually a really deep parable, if you will, allegorical phrase or speech. I got a precept. Just let me back it on that point. This is Hebrews chapter 2. In verse 10, I'm gonna start at 9, but it says, but we see Yahweh Shai, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of Yahweh should taste death for every man. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory.
Doing what?
Bringing many sons unto glory.
And that was just like when you go into that, the etymology of that word, like they know this. So you got to do your due diligence to search these things out too. That's literally what that worm does. Sacrifices itself, and the blood literally remains in the trunk of the tree or whatever, just so it could bring sons. Like literally life. Mind you, the worm dies after it does this. It doesn't live. This is literally Yahweh Shai. He literally died just to bring what he said, those that are not in his fold, to bring them in. That's literally what he did. Is that it on that? Or some more?
It's more on this.
Okay.
So first I was looking for in Joshua though.
I'll go. Oh, I know what you said. I know what you want. I can get it. I got you.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's 5 and 15.
Okay.
Salakia. I'm gonna start back at the top, verse 10. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. Right, bring that out for me.
Joshua 5 and 13, and it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand.
Right.
And Joshua went unto him and said,
what did he say?
He said, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?
Or thou what?
Art thou for us or our adversaries?
Right.
And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord.
As what?
Captain of the host of the Lord.
So this was the captain of the host of the Lord, or captain of the angels, right? Go ahead.
Am I now come? And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant?
What did he say? What saith who?
What saith my Lord?
My Lord.
Yeah.
What saith my Lord unto his servant? Right? Because Joshua had realized this is Hamashiach.
But he even just said it. He said, I'm the captain of the host of Yahweh. So they always had an understanding that there was this mediator. There's this
leader.
Yeah.
That Christ, that the Most High has given in heaven.
Y'all not seeing the Father. Y'all,
that's
not how it's gonna go. Y'all
it's
not gonna
go
see
down,
him,
bro.
And the captain of the Lord of the host said to Joshua, loose thy foot.
What did he say?
I meant lose thy shoe from off thy foot. For the place whereon thou standest is holy.
Now, where else did you hear that? Yeah. That's the same thing that was said to Moses.
Yeah.
So who was Moses dealing with? I digress. Right?
What they say?
I am right, right,
bro.
But this is it's a deep thing, man. But when you have an understanding of all these different accounts, you will see that Christ has been there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And if you go to 1 Corinthians 11 on 1 on down, it shows you the divine order. It does not say that Yahweh dealt with man. It says Yahweh dealt with Christ, and Christ deals with man, and man deals with woman. There is a divinity in the order, the structure that the Most High set up through Hamashiach. And we don't get to supersede that. You just have to go precept upon precept to get a full understanding of it, right?
Yeah. So like I got one precept, man.
We gonna read a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, we gonna read this because we just
Yeah.
And so y'all know, bro, that we're gonna be on Yahweh Shai all week, right? We're gonna be dealing with him in the Old Testament, different accounts. We're gonna be dealing with Christ all week, man. So tune in and try to get a full understanding of the premise that we paint, right? You had some Nasi?
Man, like while y'all was referencing like that Joshua 5 and how that angel was like, yeah, y'all not seeing the Most High, right? You can't get there, right? And that was referencing the New Testament too. We was kind of bringing it out last night in the book of Ephesians, the second chapter, right? The Ephesians chapter 2. I'm gonna just get straight to the milk real quick. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 13. But now in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Hamashiach, right? For he is our peace, who had made both one and had broken down the middle wall of partition between us, right? So if you really can grasp that Yahweh Shai is the divider between this Old and New Testament, right? He is that partition that's going to weave this whole thing together. So Christ had to come to tear down that wall. So there is no Old and New Testament. It's one book, right? That's
why he says, "I come in the volume of the book."
Right.
So and
that's why he has to go to the cross.
To give us a different perspective, Yahweh is the judge.
Yeah.
Christ is the lawyer.
Christ is the broker, the father. He the one that's he giving out the coins.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So
Christ is that middleman.
we are the what is defendant?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We the one that's on trial.
Yeah.
Right? Christ is advocating for us to the judge, and the jury will be the elders, right? All the angels and the elders that are taking account of what we've done, right? You know
I got 3 precepts real quick. One. I'm gonna give you Romans 3:25. It says, "Whom God had set forth to be a propitiation through faith in His blood, to declare His righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of God." Right. So that propitiation is like what the brothers is bringing out. The attorney, the broker, right? He's the one who's going to go on and advocate for us on our behalf, right, to the Most High. I yield.
That's right. Let me get 1 Timothy 2:5.
Con. It's the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 5, and it reads thus. It says, "For there is one power and one mediator."
You see that? There's one power, one God, and one mediator. Who is that? Go ahead. Who is that?
That's Yahweh Shai, man.
Keep
right?
reading.
Salaki. I was throwing it in the chat. Salaki. Picking back up at 1 Timothy 2:5, and one mediator between the Most High and men.
There's one mediator between the Most High and man, just as it says in 1 Corinthians 11:1 on down. Go ahead.
The man, Hamashiach Yahushua.
The man, Hamashiach Yahushua. It says it over and over and over throughout the scriptures, right? You cannot go directly to the Father. We too unclean, right? The Most High don't deal with things as filthy as we have made ourselves. So we need a mediator or a spokesperson or a broker.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? To speak on our behalf, because he's been cleansed. Right.
And it's like y'all gonna run into some OC onlys for sure, especially people that don't believe in Christ or whatever. But like even when you just go in the old with like an actual understanding, there's always been this mediator.
That's right.
There's always been this Lord or whatever. So it's like you can't even really try to twist it. All you can do is pretty much deny it and just.
And there was always a representative for the people, right? Even if you had the understanding, because we have an understanding that Moses was actually dealing with Hamashiach Yahushua, but even if you had the understanding that you know Moses was dealing with the Most High, well, Moses was the mediator for the people. They didn't talk to the Most High; they had to go through Moses, right? You know what I'm saying? There was always a leader. You had Moses, then you had Joshua, then you had before that it was Noah. Then you had, you know what I'm saying? Like there's always a someone that has to be, the people have to be filtered through to get to the Most High God. There's never just man praying or man going directly to Yahweh without any filter. No, there's always levels to it. Right, you know what I'm saying, from the very beginning.
Was that all you had, bro?
That's all I had. That's
okay.
all I had.
Isaiah 53 and 6.
Hold on, bro. Look like he had something.
Yeah. Mark 15 and 38.
15:38. Well, I had a feeling that we was in there.
I got
we
you.
Was there. That's why we was there. Yeah.
Started 35.
Mark we just at 34, and I think we're going back.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going back. You know what?
We got to bring it.
I'm gonna grab it now, though.
Kind the water.
Mark 35. 15 and 35.
Right, because we talking about, we still in the book of Psalms 22. We breaking it down for those of y'all just jumping on the channel. But we talking about how it was foretold of Hamashiach Yahushua, his suffering. Right, this is account, and Mark is talking about when he's being offered up on the cross. Right, so let's get into that. Mark 15 and 35.
This is Mark 15 and 35. And some of them stood by, and when they heard it, said, "Behold, he calleth Elias." And one ran and filled a sponge full of vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink, saying, "Let alone, let us see whether Elias will come down to take him down.
Right.
And Yahushua cried with a loud voice and gave up the ghost. And the veil of the temple was rent in twain, and
Mm-hmm.
from the top to the bottom.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, we talk about the temple, the holiest of holies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Only the high priests were able to go and access and go into this temple. And this is what we're talking about, that partition, that advocate, that mediator that separates man from the Most High God. The same precept that the brother just brought out in First Timothy 2:5. Right. That veil, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai has torn that thing down. Right. So now we go through him.
That's right.
Right. So I
Brother
yield with
Shabbat
that.
on point. That's right, man. I'm gonna finish out with verse 39. It says, "And when the centurion which stood over against him saw that he so cried out and gave up the ghost, he said, Truly, this man was the Son of God."
Right.
Right. Jumping back into Psalms, we're gonna pick up at verse.
I don't think we ever brought that up.
Isaiah
53 and 6, yeah.
Yeah, I got the Isaiah 53 right here.
You still holding?
Con.
Bring that out, verse 6 again, and then you read that Isaiah.
Psalms chapter 22 and verse 6. And it reads, But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despised of the people.
Bring that out in Isaiah.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 53 from the top. It says, Who have believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? Right. And this is even deep, man. Right. Because who gonna believe this report? Yeah, you said talking about Christ is in the Old Testament. Right. Who gonna believe this thing? Watch this. And whom of the Lord arm of the Lord is it revealed? Right. His mysteries are revealed. Where you want?
Do your thing, bro. But we was going this chapter gonna get done too.
I'm gonna read. So like right.
It don't matter though. You know, we gonna be lambing back and bringing this stuff out all week. So
So verse 2, for he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He had no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief.
Keep going. Continue. Go ahead, King.
And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he had borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted.
Go ahead.
But he was wounded for our transgressions.
For what?
For our transgressions.
And we know that transgressions of the law is what? Sin. Right? So he was wounded for our sins, right? Go ahead, King.
Verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripes, we are healed.
Here go the meat. That's what we was looking for. Go ahead.
All we, like sheep, have gone astray.
The lost sheep or the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
All we, like sheep, have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way.
Everyone that's turned to their own way and their own understanding. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? How long will your vain thoughts lies within thee? Go ahead.
And the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all.
Of who?
Of us all.
Right? Of us all. Right? The iniquity of all the children of Israel. Right?
And the brother was just referencing, he was talking about the cup earlier. Right? You want me to continue on this, Ak?
That's it. You can drop that. We're going to be coming back. Right? Let's go to verse 7 and Psalms 22 and 7.
Psalms 22 and 7. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip. They shake their head, saying, He trusts on the Lord, that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him.
Now, we got a good number of precepts for these two verses, right? Let's get 2 Chronicles 29 and 8. Somebody else get Matthew 27 and 39.
You want the Chronicles first?
Con. Let me see if I want you to start there. But I say 29 and 8.
Yeah. Second Chronicles chapter 29 and verse. You want 8.
Yeah.
Verse 8. It says, "Wherefore the wrath of the Lord was upon Judah and Jerusalem."
What's up on who?
Judah and Jerusalem.
Israel. Go ahead.
And he had delivered them to trouble, to astonishment, and to hissing.
And to what?
Hissing, as ye see with your eyes.
Go ahead.
For lo, our fathers have fallen by the sword, and our sons and our daughters and our wives are in captivity for this.
So we have been brought low to our hissing, right, and mocking our people, right? That's where we're at a lower estate, right? Grab that, Matthew.
I got it. Okay, Matthew chapter 27, verse 41.
Not to grab
So like what's the Second Chronicles out?
That was Second Chronicles 29 and 8 through 9.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 41.
And read through 43.
Yeah, I got it. Likewise, also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and elders said,
what did they do?
Mocking him with the scribes and elders said, he saved others, himself he cannot save.
You see that? They said he saved others, but himself he cannot save. As if Christ didn't have the power to actually get down and hop down from the timber and restore himself. Right? Go ahead.
It says, if he be the king of Israel.
If he be what?
The king of Israel.
Right.
Let him now come down from the cross, and we believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now. And if he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God.
Right. So they say, well, if you the Son of God, let the Most High pull you down from this timber. No, he's the Son of God. That's why he stayed up on the timber, because he is the Son of God, and he had to come and fulfill prophecy.
Right? And he said, if he trusted God, let him deliver him.
Right.
Like it was just brought out in the Psalms 22 and 7.
Con, let's get Jeremiah 18 and 16. Jeremiah 18 and 16.
Jeremiah chapter 18, read verse 16. Jeremiah 18 and
Jeremiah 18.
I think you want 16.
Yeah, start at 15.
Jeremiah 18:15. Because my people have forgotten me.
They have what?
Forgotten me.
Right.
They have burned incense to vanity.
See, they stopped believing in Hamashiach. They stopped believing in the prophecies. Right? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, King.
And they have caused them to stumble in their ways from the ancient past.
From the ancient past. Because like we were just bringing out, Joshua knew. Right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these, the ancient ancestors from before time, they knew the prophecies that was going to come to pass concerning Hamashiach. They knew that they were sending somebody. Even John the Baptist foretold that Yahushua was the Messiah. Right? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, King.
It says, to walk in paths in a way not cast up, to make their land desolate, and a perpetual hissing.
And a perpetual hissing, right? He made a perpetual hissing among the people. Like Christ being like I said, John foretold about Hamashiach being the one. So even people of that time knew that the Messiah had returned and was on the scene. But not everybody believed. A lot of them have been drawn away with, like the scripture says, Jewish fables. You know, we coming out of the time of the Greek captivity. So a lot of them have been warped and their mind have been Hellenized. So they really didn't believe Christ when he was on the scene, right? That's it. That's it on that.
Okay. Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and wag his head.
And what?
And wag his head.
Go ahead. That's it on that.
Yeah.
Next precept. Let's get Psalms 44.
Jeremiah
19 and 8.
Okay.
Let's get Jeremiah 19 and 8.
Jeremiah chapter 19 and verse 8. And I will make the city desolate and a hissing.
And what?
A hissing.
Right.
Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plagues thereof.
You see, all of our people are Hellenized. They bugged out. They've been plagued in the mind. So they make a hissing and they look in astonishment at Hamashiach who's actually carrying out prophecy. They can't recognize it. They don't know what they're looking at. So they just looking at him as just some ordinary, regular nigga when you're actually witnessing the Son of God fulfilling prophecy. But like the scriptures say, you got to have eyes to see. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, King.
Con, that's it on that.
Con, the next one going to be, now grab that Psalms 44.
Psalms chapter 44.
13 through 14.
Read verse 13. It says, "Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors."
You see that? Not only Hamashiach, but even the people of the nation of Israel. We all have become a reproach. And that ties back to Deuteronomy 28 as well. Right? Go ahead.
It says, "A scorn and a derision to them that are round about us."
That's the curses, right? Go ahead.
"Thou makest us a byword among the heathen."
A what?
A byword among the heathen.
Deuteronomy 28 and 37, right? A byword and astonishment. Go ahead.
A shaking of the head among the people.
A shaking of the head among the people, right? Just like they look at the same way they look at the niggas of today's time, that's how they was looking at Christ, right? You know what I'm saying? That's how they was looking at, and we are the sons of God, right? But the Son of God, being Hamashiach, they looked at him the same way, just like it said, the servants are not above their teacher. Right, so the same way they looked at him, we gonna inherit that same lot, right? The same way we are food for Christ's sakes, the same way they looked at him, the same way we have to be scorned by the world is the same way he was scorned by the world. We be on the corners and the highways and byways bringing it out, you know, and people laugh at us. They look at us as if we are the crazy one. I ain't got time for that. I ain't trying to hear that today. They shake their head, they turn away the shoulder, they smack their lips, right? But we have to endure these things because it happened to Hamashiach, and he told us that it's going to happen to us as well, right? I think that's it on that.
Yep. Back in the Psalms, chapter 22 and verse 9. Okay. Let me get there. Psalms chapter 22 and read verse 9. It says, "But thou art he that took me out of the womb."
From the what?
From the womb.
Go ahead.
"Thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast."
Let's get Jeremiah 1 and 5. Classic precepts.
Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee."
Before what?
I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
Because the Most High is in control of these things. He's pulling the strings. Before we were formed into the belly and had our physical stature, the Most High was already dealing with certain people on a spiritual level, right? Go ahead.
"And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee."
I did what?
Sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Right? So it's this light that the Most High has given us. These sheep that hear his voice, you couldn't get away from it if you wanted to. This is your light. I preordained this from aforetime, before you even knew before your parents even knew who you were. I ordained you a prophet from the womb. Right? Go ahead.
That's it on that.
That's it on that.
Let me read verse 10, then we go.
It's some more.
No, I know, but I'm saying,
I got you.
Because it was saying 9 through 10.
Okay, I got you.
Verse 10 in Psalms 22. "I will cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly."
Thou art my God from my mother's belly. We have already made a lot of these kings and priests that are on the earth through the seed line of Israel. We already made a covenant with the Most High before we got here. We got an agreement with Yahweh before we even stepped foot out of the womb, right? We've already made our alliance and allegiance. We were predestined for this. That's why we can't get away from it. Go ahead, Ken.
Next precept, Psalm 71 and 6 to go with the Psalms 22 and 9. And it reads, "By thee have I been holding up from the womb."
From the what?
From the womb.
Go ahead.
"Thou art he that took me out of my mother's bowels. My praise shall be continually of thee."
My praise shall be continually of thee. Right? Go ahead, Ken. The next one.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 2. It says, "Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb."
From the what?
From the womb.
There it is again. Go ahead.
"Which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen."
There's one more.
Galatians 1 and 15. Galatians chapter 1 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
And it reads, "But when it pleased God who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace."
Right.
And just to, expound on all these verses, when you in the womb, the Most High, you was created before you even hit the womb.
Before you even hit spiritually.
Yeah, like he know you, and he preordained what you gonna be, I know. He preordained what your mission gonna be on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you was gonna be a prophet, whether you was gonna be a damn blacksmith, whether you was gonna be a damn cook, or whether you was gonna be a warrior, the Most High, he put it in your spirit. So before your spirit even jumped into that womb, it was already there. You got what you got?
This is Romans 8. I'm gonna start at 28. I'm gonna start at 27, and it reads, "And he that searcheth the heart knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh the intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High.
Okay.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love Yahweh, to them who are the called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow,
he did what?
He also did predestine."
He predestined. So that's another way to say, like, bro, we really ain't necessarily no free will. Like like there's really none at all. I wouldn't even say necessarily, because it's like already predestined. Like every decision you make, every word that you speak out your mouth, how many steps you took today, like this was all predestined. And like, think about it, like how many times the wind blow, how many times you turned on the light, how many bugs literally crawled into your room, bro. Like it's all predestined, like to a T. And that's something that a man can't do. That's something only the Most High can do. Get what you got.
Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directed his steps.
He does what?
He directed his steps.
The Most High, he directed your steps. It wasn't you. Like it's not you. You may think it's you. You might be that person that track your steps. Today I'm gonna take 1,000 steps.
Good. Good.
I'm doing 2,000 steps today. Gotta burn some fat, bro. That's the Most High is make you, and he the one that put in your spirit to say, "I'm gonna do 2,000 steps."
That's right.
So
I'm gonna finish this part out.
Get it.
For whom he did foreknow. This is back in Romans 8. I'm gonna pick up at verse 29. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestine to be conformed to the image of his Son.
So he predestined people to be conformed to Christ. He predestined the people to believe in Christ.
And we're going to get into that in the breakdown, because Christ actually says, those that he told the Most High, those that you have given me. Right? So there was a portion of, or a stock of people that were given to Hamashiach from the foundations of the earth.
And even Matthew 13:10, he says it was given unto you. Like it's like, so like when you read these things, like it's really it's not even Yahweh Shai will, it's the Most High will. And he brought that precept already where he said, if it said, let this cup pass for me, but if it be with your will,
but if it be your
not my will,
not mine.
Everything is the will of the Most High.
That's
end
why,
of the day.
Sirach 18:1.
Get it.
He that liveth forever created all things in general. Right?
Yeah.
The Lord only is righteous, but there is none other but he who governeth the world with the palm of his hand.
With the what?
The palm of his hand.
With the palm of his hand.
And we just said, who sits in the right hand of the Most High God? It's Yahweh Shai. Yeah. So all these things was from aforetime, right? We just living it out. We just playing it out. This blueprint, this systematic spiritual format, if you will, this has already been ordained or predestined before we even came into existence.
It's just a long ass movie playing out.
Like
he made it, bro. Like everything. But just think, bro. Like think about. You can't even comprehend it. I can't even comprehend it. Like just think about all the stuff that go on. Like just with you see these leaves blowing or whatever, bro. The Most High predestined that, bro. Like
how many leaves is on this tree?
How many leaves on the tree?
And that's how you know. I used to say this all the time, bro. It has to be a divine design. Trees give off oxygen. We need oxygen to breathe.
Now, you can't even see oxygen, dog.
Bruh, but we can't live without it.
Can't live without it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is it's perfect. Somebody had to design that.
Nah, he said it was Big Bang.
But that's why I say he's the creator of all things, seen and unseen. Right? Christ did all that. He thought of all that. He manifested all that. And you know what? I'm gonna make man. I'm gonna make him 80% water. You know what I'm saying? Like he did all that.
Yeah, bro. And if you believe in Big Bang in 2022, bro, you a damn fool.
You're gonna get banged.
Literally,
you're gonna catch a big bang.
You're gonna catch one, bro.
You're gonna catch a big bang in the day of the Lord if you believe in the big bang in these times.
Is that all you have, bro?
That's it, man. We got back into the hey, yeah. Man, you can't quench not the spirit, man. We gotta allow it to move when the Most High put their spirit on us, man.
Back in Psalms chapter 22 and read 11 through 12. It says, "Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help."
There's what?
None to help.
Right.
Many bulls have compassed me.
Many what?
Many bulls compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me round. Psalms 83, verse 1. To go with this verse. Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
"Keep not thou silence, O God, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult."
They what?
They make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have what?
Taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, "Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee."
Man, breaking that down, man, that's the same thing that happened to Yahushua. Like he says, if you believed on me, you see what they've done to me. Roughly paraphrasing his precept, he says, if you follow me, what you think they're gonna do to you? Right. So these things.
You gotta think, bro. If you cut off a king, if you cut off a king, they was even at what's his name? Caesar. He put the king of Israel. Like, so bro, if you cut off a king, bro, the kingdom is bound to fall. Any kingdom is bound to fall. Yeah, any nation is just bound to fall.
It's just not gonna stand without his king.
Yeah. You smite the shepherd, the sheep shall scatter. That's how it go. That was it or not?
Did you have something else, Nazi?
No, let's roll.
Psalms chapter 22, pick up at verse 13. You want me to jump to 15 or just read 13? Because it say 15 right here.
No. Read. We're gonna read it through. Okay. I got a precept. Some of them not on there.
Okay. Verse 13. "They gaped upon me with their mouths as a ravening and a roaring lion."
Let me get you can stop right there. Read that again.
It says, "They gaped upon me with their mouths as a ravening and roaring lion."
Right. Let me get Isaiah 58 and 6. Nasi, if you can pull Psalm 17 and 12.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 6. It says, "Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands
Salakia, Psalm 58 and 6. Salakia.
Psalms chapter 58 and verse 6. And it reads, "Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth, and break out the great teeth of the young lions."
You see that? Break out the teeth of the young lions, right? Because these nations are like young lions, right? Pouncing on us as the prey.
And their teeth, it represents like their strength. Like, bruh, if you see a lion and it kind of like growl at you, but the nigga ain't got no teeth in his mouth, you ain't got nothing. Like, what? You ain't gonna be nothing to be. You ain't gonna be scared. But bro, you see them damn teeth, like
see them fangs, and then you gonna be like, yo,
goddamn,
this nigga finna tear me to shreds.
Yeah,
right. And it's the same thing. When we look at America, or different powerhouses, you see their armies. Yeah. You see their tanks, their planes, their nukes. That's their teeth. Yeah. Our nation don't have that. So being that we in the physical look at these different nations that have all these different weapons of mass destructions and warfare, we cannot combat with them in the physical. We have to tap into the spiritual. That's the only way we can win that war with them, right?
Uh,
Go ahead, Nasi, with that Psalm 17 and 12.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 12. And it reads thus.
Start at start at start at 9.
Psalm 17 and verse 9. And it reads. It says, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about.
Who do what?
Compass me about.
Read.
They are enclosed in their own fat. With their own mouth. They speak proudly.
You see, they are puffed up. All these different nations are puffed up with their mirth, with their wealth, with their weapons. They puffed up, so they speak proudly, right? Everybody speaks concerning about what they're going to do to America, meaning when they say that, the so-called white man, none consider the people that are here in subjection to the so-called white man. Every nation talks about tearing down America as this big, powerful stronghold that has a hold on the whole world. Nobody speaks of the nation that has been in servitude and slavery to this nation for X amount of years. Nobody references us. They know we here being held against our will. They know that. We don't know we being held against our will, but they know that. Nobody speaks about it. Nobody even considers that these people, the children of God, which they know and understand, are there when they talk about bombing America and doing this and doing that to America. Nobody even brings it up. Go ahead, King.
Verse 11. Verse 11. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth.
Like a lion when he get ready to pounce or prey, right? Go ahead.
Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey.
You see that? Go ahead.
And as it were, a young lion lurking in secret places.
All these nations, man, they are lurking to pounce on, and it's really like America being a young lion already has this prey within his grasp. He has us, the children of Israel, in his grasp, and the lions around about want a piece of that thing, right? So they are crouching low to go in, attack on the lion that has us, not considering the prey has a parent as well. You know what I'm saying? The prey has a protector as well. The prey has something to fight for them as well. And they're not even considering that. They're considering the person that actually has the prize or the prey, right?
Is that it on that,
Nasi? Yeah, that's it. That's it on that.
I'll pick back up. Psalms chapter 22. Pick up at verse 14. It says, I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd.
Is what?
Shred up like a potsherd.
Let's get what's it say? Let me get Matthew 27 and 11. I get X. Matthew 27 and 11 through 14. Nashaya.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 11. And it reads thus. Matthew 27 and 11. And Yahushua stood before the governor. And the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Yahushua said unto him, Thou sayest. And
when he said, my strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaved to his jaws. Right? So Christ didn't have much to say to these heathens during the time of he was being delivered up. It was not much to talk about. I'm here to fulfill my lot. I don't really want to do it. Pop said I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to come in here and play with y'all and allow y'all to patronize me and go back and forth with you, right? Go ahead.
And when he was accused of the chief priests and the elders, he answered nothing.
He what?
He answered nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee?
Mm-hmm.
And he answered him to never a word, and so
Mm-hmm.
much that the governor marveled greatly. Now at the feast of the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would, and they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas.
I think that was it on that. All right.
Come,
Up
Salaki,
at 14.
come.
That was it, right
That
on.
kind of goes into Christ Yahushua being offered up, knowing
Con,
that
con,
Pontius
con, con.
Pilate was he knew that he was guilty, right? And he
Con.
found no fault with him.
That's right.
Back in the Psalms. Oh
Now you would
no,
well read. Let's read that
yeah,
again.
I was gonna read it again.
Go on.
My strength is dried up like the potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws.
Mm-hmm.
And thou hast brought me into the dust of death.
Go ahead.
Con. Psalms, Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted,
Mm-hmm.
yet he openeth not his mouth.
You see that? Just like it said in Matthew, he answered not a word. It says he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Right?
He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter.
He is what?
Brought as a lamb to the slaughter.
And
As a sheep before her shears is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth.
just like a sheep right before the butcher is about to get slaughtered,
The
it's
sheep,
dumbfounded.
bro,
She don't know what's going on.
They don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? And Christ, even though he knew what was going on, when he was here first, he acted or conducted himself as the sheep. He returning as the lion, right? He's gonna be the one with the prey in his grips and in his teeth. But at this particular time when he first came in the flesh, he's coming as the sheep, right? He was here as the sheep, right? He didn't say anything. What could he say? The Most High, his father had already delivered him into y'all hands. There's nothing to say. Get on with it. Right? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get it done, bro. I'm not finna play games with you.
God. If I can add
But
to
also
that.
different things have to be fulfilled concerning the way he died.
yeah.
Right? So a lot of this thing, them saying stuff to him and him not saying
That's the
nothing,
prophecy.
that's prophecy too.
That's what he
And
came
that's
to
what I was about
fulfill.
to say, and that's what I was kind of going to go into, because what we watching in the Old Testament is the monologue or the transcript of the play, and it's unfolding in the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
So when we watching this in the New Testament, we going back to, we can see what's next,
Right.
what's about to, what else is, that's what prophecy is, right?
Fine.
I yield though.
Kind of got one more. This is Acts 8 and 32.
Bring it out.
I'm already here.
Right.
And it reads, the place, Salaki, it reads, the place of the scripture which he read was this. He was led as a sheep to the slaughter, and like a lamb dumb before his shearer. So opened he not his mouth.
And this is the verse he was referencing was the Isaiah 53 and 7, like I brought out. As it was written in Isaiah.
And just like we say all the time, bro, these New Testaments continuously lammybacks on the quote unquote Old Testament, right? You know what I'm saying? They go hand in hand. It's one big book. We don't prescribe to Old or New Testament. We believe it's one complete scroll. I'm gonna read verse 33 in closing. In his humiliation, his judgment was taken away. And who shall declare his generation? For his life is taken from the earth. All right, we're gonna jump back into
Psalms chapter 22, verse 16. It says, for dogs have compassed me.
For what?
Dogs compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. And they pierced my hands and my feet.
They did what?
Pierced my hands and my feet.
Let me get Matthew 15 and 26, and I'm going to grab Luke 24 and 39.
Matthew chapter 15 and verse 26. And it reads, but he answered and said, it is not meet to take children's bread and to cast it to the dog.
To the what?
To dogs.
What are the other nations?
Dogs.
Go ahead.
And she said, truth, Lord.
She said what?
Truth, Lord.
So they knew. You know what I'm saying? So these other nations, they know that they dogs compared to the children of Israel. They know that they are beasts of the field, as the scriptures calls them as well. They're animals, right? We just seen a damn Hamite, right?
I would like to believe.
Nah, that's a Hamite, bro.
It's a hamburger,
that's proven that he's a Hamite by what he did, right? Raped the damn horse continuously for months. Caught him on video camera walking out the barn butt naked. Raped the horse, bro. So knowing and understanding that they are beasts of the field. They are animals. They are dogs. That's a dog ass act, right? To rape and go inside a horse, bro. You are an animal.
Multiple times.
Over months. Ham can't get no action, so he fall up in the barnyard and steal some action. You know what I'm saying? They took the damn horse to the vet, and they like, yo, somebody been cracking your stallion. Yo, it's human DNA in here, and come to find out, it's hamburger.
Yeah, they go check the video cams. Nigga walk in there naked.
He walking out the barn butt naked after having his way with Mr. Ed or Mrs. Ed. I don't know what he prefer, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh man!
But this is the other nations, man. This is the heathens, man.
God.
Yes,
yeah.
Dog. That's a dog ass act, man. That's animalistic. That is bestiality at its finest.
Yeah. Luke 24.
Hey man, they must be stopped.
But
man.
that's why the Most High gave us that commandment after Egypt. He said, "Don't lay with no beast."
Hey,
man, this is what they do.
This, you see what I'm? That's why that's a Hamite. It gotta be.
Yeah, it gotta be.
It gotta be. Bro.
Better be.
It better be. It better be, bro.
Yeah, it better be.
You cut off.
Yeah, bro. And you will be cut off. Luke 24.
Let's start at 36.
Okay.
And read through 40.
Okay. Luke chapter 24 and verse 36. That's what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Verse 36. And it reads, and as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, Peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted.
They were what?
Terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a spirit.
So Yahushua popped up on the scene after giving up the ghost and the Most High resurrecting him. He popped up on the scene and said, Shalom.
Yeah.
Right? And the disciples that were round about, they were spooked because they thought they had seen a ghost or a spirit. Right? Go ahead.
And he said unto them, why are you troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold, my hands and my feet.
My what?
Hands and my feet.
Go ahead.
That it is I myself. Handle me and see.
Do what?
Handle me and see.
He said, handle me and see. And then it's crazy because y'all know the prophecy. Why y'all scared? Why y'all scared? What y'all tripping on? Y'all knew that I told y'all that this was gonna come to pass.
And it says, for the spirit have not flesh and bones as ye see me have. Oh my gosh.
You see that?
And that just proves that he came back in that body. Because he literally just said that. And like the prophecy said in Psalms, they pierced my hands and my feet. We all know that Christ got his hands and his feet pierced. So like I said, like when he said I come to fulfill, he came to fulfill that was written in the law and the prophets. This is what he was coming to fulfill things that was written of him.
That's right. Finish that. I think it's 40.
And when he had thus spoken, he shewed them his hands and his feet.
His what?
Hands and his feet. And while they yet believed not for joy and wondered, he said unto them, have ye here any meat?
Listen to that. Salakia, man. That's what we're doing. And that's what we're doing right now, man. Through the Spirit, man. We're showing you Hamashiach's hands and his feet in the Old Testament, man. We're showing you that, hey, man, he existed, man. We're showing you that it was prophesied of him coming. We're showing you all these things so you don't be, because it kind of further goes into this story, because you had someone who was called Doubting Thomas, right? Thomas didn't believe, man. He didn't believe that was Hamashiach Yahushua. And some of our brothers and sisters don't believe it. So we got to go into these accounts to show you, hey, man, look at the holes, man, that they said over there in the book of Psalms, the 22nd chapter. And then come over here in the New Testament, we're going to show you over here. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah 53. We're going to show you over there. Because we got to show you these things so that they can be proven, right? I yield. I digress.
Precept. This is John 19:34. And it reads, but I'm going to read 33. It says, but when they came to Yahushua and saw that he was dead already, they break not his legs.
They did what?
They break not his legs. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side. And forthwith came there out blood and water. And he that saw it bare record. And his record is true. And he knoweth that he said true, that ye may believe. Right? So that's just another account to prove that he was pierced.
And through that blood and water, bro, we saved, bro. Through them blood and water.
And like I said in John, he says, handle my hands and my feet. Right? And it says right here in Psalms 22. I think that was what Luke, that it said, handle my hands and feet.
Yeah, Luke.
And here in Psalms, it says, they pierced my hands and my feet.
Yeah.
Right? Verse 17.
Verse 17, and it reads, I may tell all my bones. They look and stare upon me.
Right.
They part my garment among them.
They do what?
Part my garment among them and cast lot upon my vesture.
And cast lots upon my vesture.
Matthew chapter 27 and verse 35.
Let me get John 19:24, Nasi Baba Kashab.
And it reads, and they crucified him.
They did what?
Crucified him and parted his garments.
And did what?
Parted his garments.
What did it say?
Parted his garments.
Psalms 22:18. They parted my garments among them.
Casting lots.
And casted lots upon my vesture.
That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet.
By what?
The prophet.
Go ahead.
They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots.
Again, he had to come fulfill these prophecies. All these things have to come to pass, which is why we going into the accounts, like the brother Nasi said. We jumping in Isaiah, we jumping in Psalms, we going to the gospel, we going all over to show you, yo, these things that were said that were going to happen concerning Christ, he fulfilled them. He did it. Everything that they said were going to happen, it happened, right? It says Mark 15:24. Mark 15.
Oh, did we get John 19:24?
I think Nasi holding it.
Okay.
Hey, what was that? Matthew 27:35.
Yep.
And this is Mark 15:24. Mark 15 and 24.
John first.
Yeah.
John 19 and verse 24. It says, they said therefore among themselves, let us not rend it.
Let us what?
Not rend it, but cast lots for it.
But what?
Cast lots for it.
Right.
Whose it shall be, that the scriptures might be fulfilled. It was said, they parted my raiment among them, and for my vesture they did cast lots.
They cast lots.
And these things, therefore, the soldiers did.
Right? So this is the same account, 3 different accounts. Like we said, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a word established. And we having more than that, because it was spoken on in Psalms, and we going to Matthew, Mark, John, Luke, you know what I'm saying? So these are multiple accounts of the same thing, right? This is Mark 15:24. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots upon them, what every man should take. And it was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him. And the superscription of his accusation was written over, the King of the Jews.
That's what I just said earlier.
That's what I want to grab that part too.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna pick back up in the Psalms chapter 22, and we're gonna read verse 19. Psalms 22 and verse 19.
Bring it out.
It says, but be not thou far from me, O Lord.
Be what?
Be not far from me, O Lord, O my strength. Haste thee to help me.
Do what?
Haste thee to help me.
Fine. Get
Let me read the 22.
Go ahead.
Deliver my soul from the sword, and my darling from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare thy name unto my brethren.
I will what?
Declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee.
Fine. Nasi, you can grab John 17 for me, Baba Kashai. John 17, you can get Sirach 51-7. And let real quick, just like we brought out again, I'm gonna bring it out again in Psalms 58. I'm gonna read verse 3 first. Psalms 58-3, so we know who we're referencing. Right? This is Psalms 58-3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Right? I'm gonna read on down. It says, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of the charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O Yahweh, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions. Right? So this lion in particular in this chapter or this reference, as well as in Psalms 22, is the wicked. Right? And I'm going to grab this. I got one more. This is Proverbs chapter 8, right? Yasha Olive, you could read, what did it say? What did you read? 19 through 22?
Yeah.
Read verse, go ahead and deal with verse 19. Read Sirach 51-7.
Sirach chapter 51-7.
Let me read 19 again. Be not there far from me, O Yahweh. O my strength, haste thee to help me. But go ahead, King.
Sirach 51-7. They compass me on every side.
They what?
Compass me on every side.
Right? Because they rushed Yahweh. Right? When Judas Iscariot gave up Yahweh, they rushed him. That's why Peter put out the sword and sliced off his ear. And guess what Christ did? What was Christ's last miracle? He healed his ear. Right after Peter sliced his ear out, he healed him. And they still took him. The man just healed your ear that was cut off, and you still gonna arrest him?
I'm led to believe that was the same generation that died in the wilderness.
It had to be,
that's what I'm led to believe.
It couldn't have been us. Couldn't have been me.
But they know he was doing all these damn signs, all these wonders and stuff, and y'all still
brother.
I think this is the same people, bro.
The same person who arrested them, he healed them right before he arrested them. And they still didn't believe him.
Oh no, bro. Yeah, let me finish this out. It says, and there was no man to help me. I looked for the succor of man, but there was none.
And like he said, he told Peter to fall back, and there was a lynch mob to come get him. There wasn't a lynch mob to protect him, right? So there was nobody. Yeah, he had his boys, right? But of course, when the Pontius Pilate and Caesar send somebody to get you, it's gonna be a mob. It's gonna be a slew of soldiers, right, to hem you up.
Okay.
So Con, read verse. What is that? Read verse 20.
Psalms 22 and verse 20. It says, deliver my soul from the sword.
Right, deliver his soul from the sword, but it was the Most High's will for it not to go like that, right?
And my darling from the power of the dog.
Now he says, and my darling, right, from the power of the dog. Who is Christ's darling? It's the children of Israel. Who was in power at this time? The dogs, the heathens, the other nation. But let's prove that we are his darling, right? This is Proverbs 8. And this is another prophetic chapter about Yahweh. It says, I'm going to start at 31. Proverbs 8. I'm going to start at 30. Proverbs 8 and 30. It says, then I was by him as one brought up with him. I was daily his delight. Meaning Yahweh is the Most High's delight. Rejoicing always before him. rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth.
Mm.
And my delight
Mm-hmm.
were the sons of men. You see that? Christ's delight was us, right? Now, therefore, hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways. Right? I yield on that.
That was it.
Now, Nasi, I want you to pick up in John. Go to Psalms 22. And we're gonna chop this up. Psalms 22 and you can
21.
you can just stay where you at and 21.
Okay.
And Nasi, you got 17?
Con.
If you busy, I can grab it.
Con, I'm holding. John 17.
Okay. Let's start at, because this is very, very pivotal. Let's start at I think I want to start at 2.
This is the book of John, chapter 17 and verse 2.
Salaki, go ahead and start at 1.
Con. 17 from the top. These words spake Yahushua and lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, Father, this hour is come. Glorify thy Son, that thy Son also may glorify thee. As thou hast given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him.
You see that? Because his delight was who? The sons of man, the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Reading on. Verse 3. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Yahushua Hamashiach, whom thou hast sent. I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
With what? Read that again.
And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
So he was in understanding that, I already had a glorified body. Glorify me with the same estate that I resurrect me back to your right hand, right? For lesser words, right? Glorify me and put me back in my rightful place on the right hand of Yahweh, right? Go ahead.
Verse 6. I have manifested thy name unto the men.
I have what?
I have manifested thy name unto the men.
Read that again in Psalms 22. Psalms 22.
21.
Yeah.
Psalms 22 and 21.
Read through 22.
Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare thy name unto my brethren.
I will what?
Declare thy name unto my brethren.
Nachi, read that again.
And it reads, it says, verse 6, John 17 and verse 6, I have manifested thy name unto the men, which thou gavest me out of the world.
His brethren, the man that you gave me, I've manifested your name unto them, thy name unto them, right? And just like it said in Psalms, I will declare thy name unto my brethren. Go ahead.
In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee.
All right, go ahead, Nasi.
Back in verse 6 in the book of John 17, I have manifested thy name unto men, unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word.
Go ahead.
Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee.
Go ahead.
For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me.
You see that? And the words that the Most High gave Yahushua, he told to us, right? They get the same understanding of the wisdom that the Most High bestowed upon Yahushua. He passed that glory down to the children of Israel, right? Go ahead.
And
you got something?
And he says this in verse 6. He says, thine, he says, I have given them, verse 7. Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. And he came with the old scriptures, man. He came with the prophets. So he was giving these same things to them so that they can have the understanding, not only salvation, But in order for them to receive that salvation, they had to know that it was actually him. And then they had to believe on the law of Moses. Right? Reading on, verse 8. For I have given unto them the words which thou hast gavest me, and they have received them and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me.
Why? Because he was here fulfilling prophecy. He was here going into the book of Isaiah, quoting Hosea, right? He was here literally fulfilling what Moses had spoke of. All these things that was written aforetime, Christ was here just lambing back on those points and proving the scriptures to be true. So of course, if we believe the Torah, if we believe the Tanakh, why wouldn't we believe him? Because it's the same thing. He's saying the same thing. Go ahead.
Verse 9, I pray for them.
I
pray not for the world.
You see that? He prayed for them. He prayed for the ones that were given unto him from the Father, right? I pray for those stock. I pray not for the rest of the world. I pray not for the heathen and the dog. I pray not for the sinner, but for the sheep that hear my voice. Go ahead, King.
I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine.
Go ahead.
And all mine are thine, and all thine are mine. And I am glorified in them. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world. And I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thine own names those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me I have kept, and none of them is lost. But the son of perdition.
The what?
The son of perdition.
Go ahead.
That the scripture might be fulfilled. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the word hath hated them. And the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that they shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil.
Okay, jump to verse 21 and read through 24.
Verse 21 in the book of John 17 and 21, that they all may be one as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee.
That they also one accord, just like it says in 1 Corinthians 11 and 1 on down, one accord, right? Yahweh, Hamashiach, man, woman, children. One accord, right? Go ahead.
Continuing on, that they all may be one as thou, Father, art in me, and I in thee. They also may be one in us, that the world may believe that thou hast sent me, and glorified which thou gavest me. I have given them that they may be one, even as we are. So I and them.
We had that they may be one or on one accord, even as we are on one accord, right? That's why Paul said, follow me as I am a follower of Christ, right? He didn't say just follow me and get on one accord with the Pauline doctrine. He said, no, this Pauline doctrine coincides with the gospel of Hamashiach. So you can follow me because I'm following Hamashiach, and Hamashiach was doing the will of the Father, right? It's a pecking order. Paul never superseded Yahushua. Neither did he come to change anything that he said in order. He only complimented everything that he said, right? Go ahead.
Come, picking back up in John 17 and verse 23. I and them, and thou and me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them as thou hast loved me.
Real quick. Zechariah 2 and you know what I want.
2 and 8.
Zechariah chapter 2. I got it. This is Zechariah chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 7. It says, "Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me." Right? Go ahead, King.
Come on, picking back up.
23.
Verse 24. Father, I will that they also, whom thou hast given me, be with me where I am,
Mm-hmm.
that they may behold my glory,
Right.
which thou hast given me.
Mm-hmm.
For thou lovest me before the foundations of the world.
Before what?
Before the foundation of the world.
Con.
O righteous Father, the world hath not known thee, but
Mm-hmm.
I have known thee, and these have known that thou hast sent me. And
Mm-hmm.
I have declared unto them thy name, and I will declare it, that the love wherewith thou hast loved me may be in them, and I in them.
Con. So the Most High has declared his name unto the righteous. He declared the name unto the Most High. Yahweh has declared the Most High's name to the righteous. He declared the Most High's name unto the world, right? And they have bared record that even before he came, it was prophesied for him to bear the Most High's name and declare it before the heathen and the dogs and all the other nation, as well as the righteous being the stock of the children of Israel, right? So with that, we gonna move on. We're picking up at verse 23. We all got a few more precepts. We almost done.
Psalms chapter 22 and verse 23. And it reads, "Ye that fear the Lord, praise him." It says, "All ye, the seed of Jacob."
Who?
All ye, the seed of Jacob.
Not everybody.
Seed of Jacob.
Go ahead.
Glorify him
Uh-huh.
and fear him, all ye seed of Israel.
Read.
For he have not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted.
Mm-hmm.
Neither hath he hid his face from him, but when he cried unto him, he heard.
Right. Let me get Matthew 27 and 50 and Isaiah 53 and 10. What you grabbing, Nathan?
I'm putting it, scrapping real quick.
Fine. I'm gonna grab Isaiah.
I get the Matthew 27 and verse 50.
Read through 54.
Yep. Matthew 27:50. Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, the veil of the temple was rent twain from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent.
Mm-hmm.
And the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose.
See, because when he cried out, the Most High heard him. He wasn't ignoring Yahweh. That's when he prayed the prior to, he sent an angel to strengthen him. Right? You know what I'm saying? He never neglected or ignored Yahweh. Yeah. He just knew that this was his lot he had to fulfill. Right? Go ahead.
And came out of the graves after the resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. That's just crazy because like that happened, but when he come back, it's gonna happen again.
It'll happen again.
It's gonna happen right again.
That's right.
But it's like I ain't gonna get into it.
We'll talk about it later.
I ain't gonna get into it. Now with the centurion, and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, "Truly, this was the Son of God." Ain't no denying at that point. Ain't no denying.
This is Isaiah 53 and verse 10, and it reads. I'm gonna start at 9. It says, "And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was there any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased Yahweh to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand." Right? Keeping it moving, man. We're gonna go to pick up at verse 25.
Verse 25. My praise shall be of thee in the great congregation, and I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied.
The what?
Meek shall eat and be satisfied, and they shall praise the Lord that seek him. Your heart shall live forever.
Let me get
Matthew 5 and 6. I know that's what I was thinking about too.
I'm gonna grab a few. Now, see if you can grab Psalms 37:11 when you're done typing King Baba Kashah.
Matthew chapter 5.
Matter of fact, get Isaiah 11. Isaiah 11:4. I get the other ones.
Matthew chapter 5 verse 6. Blessed are the meek.
Blessed the who?
The meek.
The who?
The meek.
Go ahead.
For they shall inherit the earth.
Right, and we are the meek of the world. We are the meek, the children of Israel. Right, we don't have much. We are brought low. We don't have an army to fight for us. Right, we don't have a spokesperson. We don't have a country. We don't have a nation flag. We are the meek of the earth. Right, the inhabitants of our land has been snatched from us. Our heritage has been snatched from us. Our language has been snatched from us. But through the Spirit, we are grabbing it back. And according to Daniel 7:18, we're gonna take back the kingdom of God. Right. Next precept is gonna be Psalms 29. So 25 and 9. Psalms 25 and 9. And it reads. I'm gonna get straight to it. It says, the meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his ways. All the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimony. Right? So the meek, meaning the children of Israel, again, just like it says in Psalms 147:20, he had not dealt so with any other nation. So this meek that he's referencing, it has to be the children of Israel. Next precept is going to be Psalm 37:11. Psalms 37:11. Actually, I'm going to start at 10. Psalms 37:10, and I'll read through 11. And it reads, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, they shall diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Right? In abundance of peace, or the king of peace, which would be Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Right?
Yep.
You got that, Isaiah? Okay, Yashala got it.
Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor.
Shall he what?
Judge the poor.
With righteousness shall he judge the poor, meaning the poor in substance, because we are the rich in spirit. Right? Go ahead.
And reprove with equity for the meek of the earth.
For the what?
It says, with the equity for the meek of the earth.
For the meek of the earth. Go ahead.
He shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
Read that 5.
And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins.
Right? So the Yahweh Shai is going to come back and restore the nations, restore the tribes rather of Israel, the nation that he's chosen from the foundations of the earth. And the other nations are going to feel the breath of his lips and the rod of his tongue. Right? You can
picking up in Psalm chapter 22, verse 27.
Yeah.
All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord.
And what?
Turn unto the Lord. Revelations 14:6.
You can finish.
No, I'm saying grab that.
Okay.
Go right.
I'm already
27.
Revelations.
All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee.
This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 6. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach, and unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice,
saying what?
Fear Yahweh, and give glory to him. For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters.
And there's another verse of think it's Isaiah where it says like they're gonna be coming up to the mountains. Be
I
like,
got it in 20.
hey, let's you got it. Is it in here already?
It's not, nah, but
okay, you got it. You know what I'm talking about though.
what they talking about? We heard your house was
Yeah,
with y'all.
yeah.
See if I can find it.
That's what I was thinking about. So these other nations though, and that, cause like in that day, bro, like that's gonna be like it's like the end game of everything. So it's like, well, all nations can just, bro, when they see all this stuff go down, bro, like some of them they ain't gonna have no choice but to get down with it. It's like, bro, they gonna be so frank. It's like you gonna have to serve. You gonna have to serve your Habashai. You can put that.
It's Zechariah.
It's Zechariah.
Zechariah 8,
I know it's one of them books.
Yeah, it's the classic. Yeah. This is I'm gonna bring it out. Actually, I'm gonna start at 21.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "And the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us go speedily to pray before Yahweh, and to seek the Yahweh of hosts. I will go also. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek Yahweh of hosts in Jerusalem."
So it's like, bro,
wow,
don't get it twisted.
I just had a revelation.
The nations, they gonna get their judge, whatever they gonna get. You know, we know what's gonna happen to them, but bro, they gonna be serving the Lord too, though. I mean, they got to. They gonna be put down.
And to pray.
How should I said, those that do not serve me, bring them here before my feet and cut them down.
And they ain't gonna get no rain on their land, no crops are gonna yield. Like it's gonna be bad for them. Right? It says, and to pray before Yahweh. Read that again. Yea, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before Yahweh. Thus said the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of the languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we heard that God is with you. Right? I got another one. This is Revelations 21, and I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 24. It says, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it.
Right. Back at Psalms chapter 22 and verse 28. You're almost there. For the kingdom is the Lord.
Is who?
Is the Lord.
Go ahead.
And he is the governor among the nations.
The governor among the nations, right?
Isaiah 9 and 6. I grabbed that.
I got Psalms 21, 24 and 1. I'm bringing it out real quick. I'm right here.
I'm ready, Isaiah.
Okay, go ahead.
Isaiah 9 and 6. For unto us a child is born. And to us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder.
Upon who?
His shoulder.
Go ahead.
And his name shall be called Wonderful. The Counselor, the Mighty God.
Right.
The Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace.
The what?
Prince of Peace.
On the Prince of Peace. Right.
Yeah.
So this is. It said he was gonna be called the what?
It says the Prince of Peace.
What did it say before that?
The Everlasting Father.
What did it say before that?
The Mighty God.
What did it say before
Counselor
that?
And Wonderful.
Okay. This is Psalms 24 and 1. The earth is the Lord's. And the fullness thereof. The world and they that dwell in it. For he hath founded it upon the seas. And established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart. Who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessings from the Lord, and righteousness from the power of his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob, Salah. Lift your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Lift up your heads,
Mm-hmm.
O ye gates,
Mm-hmm.
even lift them up,
Mm-hmm.
ye everlasting, so like ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in.
Con.
Who is the King of glory? The Lord of hosts.
Con.
He is the King of glory.
Con. Next precept is going to be Psalms chapter 22 and verse 30. We're going to finish this out and pull extra precepts with it.
Fine.
Hold Matthew 28:16. Or
Matthew
you in
20.
Psalms? Matter of fact, go to Psalms 53 and 12 since you in Psalms. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna get these.
Isaiah.
I'm gonna
That's
get these
Isaiah.
now. Oh, I thought that was Psalms.
Yeah, that's Isaiah.
You was writing Psalms.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, my bad. Okay. Psalms chapter 22 and 30. A seed shall serve him, and verse 29. Let me read 29.
Yeah, I think where you is.
Yeah. All they that be fed upon the earth shall eat and worship.
Mhm.
All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul.
Mhm.
And a seed shall serve him.
Mhm.
It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation.
Mhm.
They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born that he have done this.
Fine.
Sirach.
Sirach 10 and 19.
Come on, let me get it. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 19. And it reads, they that fear the Lord are a sure seed.
Or what?
A sure seed.
Go ahead.
And they that love him an honorable plant.
Mm-hmm.
They that regard not the law are dishonorable seed.
Or what?
A dishonorable seed.
And it said, a seed shall serve him. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed. Surely they're going to serve him.
Honorable.
Right? Go ahead.
And they that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed.
Or what?
A deceivable seed.
Go ahead. That's it on that?
Yep.
Let's get Matthew
28:16.
28:16. We're going to read through 20.
Matthew chapter 28 and verse 16. It says, the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, into a mountain where Christ had appointed them.
Mm-hmm.
And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Christ came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in the heaven and in earth.
Mm-hmm.
Go ye therefore and teach all nations.
Do what?
Teach all nations,
Uh-huh.
baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost.
And we know before Jake tried to get carnal that all nations is referring to the scattered Israelites abroad that are scattered among all nations. Right?
Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the world.
Even when?
Until the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on.
Right? And the last precept of the day is going to be Isaiah 53 and 12. And it reads, therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with a strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death. He was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercessions for the transgressors. Right? So with that, we conclude the class, right? This is the prophetic breakdown of Psalms 22 in the eyes of the saints upholding commandments. We believe that this is referencing Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. We pulled a slew of precepts to kind of substantiate that point. We pray that it was edifying. Until our next appointed time, we want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh by Hashem wa Malak Yahweh Shai. We give double honors to the elders that are worthy of them, that have been ruling in generations and decades before us, laboring and putting in this work before us. We give a mighty shalom to all the saints scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm Brother Shemariah.
Israel.
Brother Nazi.
Hey, you had something, Nazi?
No, just for those who might not have been on the class with us throughout this breakdown, but will watch this in the future. we pray that you have eyes to see, man, that the Most High has revealed these things to you and made them plain upon tables as they are to us, right? And in saying that, this story in Psalms 22, we're going into these things to show you that these things aren't going to be revealed or be made manifest to everybody. So, Lord willing, if you have eyes to see these things, you can continue to walk circumspectly in this thing, and seek out and to study whether these things be true or not. You know, but just wanted to throw that out there.
King. Hey, again, we are SUC. Right, I'm Brother Shemariah.
Israel.
Brother Nasi.
Hey, with that, we bid y'all shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, y'all.
Kwam ya shalom.
Kwam ya shalom.